These specific statements, were they anti-Semitic?
There are people who have expressed their offense at these statements.
Tulsi Gabbard showed you why she needs to be on that stage. I said Tulsi Gabbard shows that she has the poise. Now, I've seen her being poised in other situations. She was very relaxed when she was on Morning Joe, though she was being attacked on the left and the right by the corporatist, I don't even know what you want to call Mika and Joe Scarborough and this other lady. But when she was on Morning Joe, when she was being attacked, she was very poised. And I said, wow, Tulsi is very collected and very calm. Then when she went on The View, she was the same thing. They were throwing allegations at her. You're an Assad puppet. You're all of these horrible things. And she was poised. She was relaxed. She was calm. But it wasn't just poised and relaxed. She was purposeful. She didn't just talk. Tulsi Gabbard tonight, I think, demonstrated the best of Tulsi Gabbard. The Tulsi Gabbard that we needed to see on the national stage in front of the whole world. I think her command of the issues. I think that she embodied it tonight. She brought it home. And this is when you got to do it. It doesn't matter how good you are. If when you go up on the world stage, if you can't keep it tight, if you can't deliver when it's time to deliver. And frankly, that's what separates the winners from the losers. It's not just intent. It has to be, can you execute when it's time to execute?
Let's get back to the audience. I want to go now to Joseph Jaffe, a marketing consultant from Connecticut. Joseph.
Aloha.
Hello, and thank you for taking my question. I believe the 2020 general election is going to be a single issue vote, and that single issue is going to be socialism. Right now, the Democratic legacy is being warped and repositioned as a socialist agenda. So, Congresswoman, my question for you is as follows. How will you counter this perception? Because as they say in marketing, perception is reality.
Yeah.
And in doing so, restore the democratic ideals to their original truths.
Yeah. It's an important question, and we do this by not falling into this trap of labels that is being set and focusing first and foremost on the people.
Right.
So you can, and people use all kinds of labels to name this or to name that, and if you pay attention, you'll notice the only reason they're using those labels is to try to pit one group of us against the other, is to try to tear one part of our country away from the other, to divide us as a nation. This goes against the very principles that our founders had for us as a United States of America. And so it's important for this reason and for every other reason why we get into public service to focus first and foremost on serving the people of this country by providing the services and the care, the best care that we can, meeting those needs, working together, bringing the diverse ideas that we have to find that best solution, whether those ideas are coming from Democrats or Republicans or independents, taking away all of those barriers and say, how can we best serve? That is our mission, and that's what I'll deliver on as your president.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congresswoman, I understand what you're saying about labels, but that's how we define and understand where people come from ideologically and philosophically. So what about capitalism? Are you a capitalist?
See, here's the thing with all these labels, and as you said, how they're used to define people and where they're coming from. But as you see, so many of these labels are misused, misunderstood to the point
so how would you define
where people
yourself?
Don't have any idea what they even mean anymore.
So you're not a capitalist?
I'm an independent-minded person. I'm a Democrat, and my sole focus and purpose is to figure out how we can best serve the people of this country.
Okay.
All right, so I like that response from Tulsi Gabbard on those issues about socialism and how she would deal with it with Trump. And I think she's absolutely right. I think some other people feel that she's spot on as well when to say, you know, these labels that they try to throw on us, these are just ways to divide us. And once you raise your hand and say, well, I'm a progressive, well, that puts you over here. And now the conservative person goes, well, I don't need to hear you because I don't like progressives. Even if that idea what a progressive is something totally different than what you actually are. And I'm always reminded by a saying that Chris Rock said, well, nobody's just one thing. You may think you are, but you're not just one thing, right? Like, you may be progressive on some things, and other things you may be conservative. Other things you may be moderate. You may be liberal. So we are more than just our labels, right? So I think it's important, and all labels come with stereotypes. So I like her response on that. I think that played very well with the audiences in the town hall, but not only them, because when you're in a setting like this, you're not just talking to the people in the town hall event, are you? You're talking to people at home. You're not just talking to the people at home that are watching, you're talking to all the people that will cover this. And speaking of coverage, I didn't see a whole lot of people tweeting about Tulsi Gabbard. I could be tripping, but I didn't see a whole lot of activity. I saw like Jordan Sheridan, myself, Kyle Kalinske. I think I saw Katie Halper, maybe. Was that Katie Halper I saw? There wasn't a lot of activity. Now, I wasn't watching, I'm watching and I'm tweeting and I'm posting videos because that's what I do. So I wasn't watching everything. But like I said, I didn't see the big blue checkmark crowd like coming over the hill with a lot of like hard-hitting punditry, commentary, and analysis like they would have if there was, say, a Kamala Harris or, say, a Joe Biden on the stage. So basically what I'm saying is they're discounting Tulsi Gabbard once again. Covering her town hall event is a way to shed light on her campaign. And they're making sure not to do that. Now, the next clip is going to be about the LGBTQ issue.
Can you convince me that your prior positions on gay rights have truly changed? I'm especially concerned about your previous support of conversion therapy, which I find really, really repulsive. And I'd like to understand what caused you to reevaluate your positions and change them.
Thank you for your question. I want to correct the record on something that's very important that you raised. I personally never supported any kind of conversion therapy. I never advocated for conversion therapy. And frankly, I didn't even know what conversion therapy was until just the last few years. I think it was when I was first running for Congress when someone was asking me about it. I was raised in a very socially conservative home. My father is Catholic. He was a leading voice against gay marriage in Hawaii during that time. Again, I was very young, but these were the values and the beliefs that I grew up around. My own personal journey, as I went out in different experiences in my life, especially going and deploying to the Middle East, where I saw firsthand the negative impact of a government attempting to act as a moral arbiter for their people, dictating in the most personal ways how they must live their lives. And so it caused me to confront that contradiction, where as a soldier standing for freedom for all people here in this country, but also how that contradicted with some of those values and beliefs that I grew up with. I also served with gay and lesbian and trans service members, and we became very good friends and knew in the most deep and visceral way that I would give my life for any one of them. And I knew that they would do the same for me. And serving there overseas, being in a place where race or religion or orientation, these were things that didn't matter because we were focused on our mission of service. So these experiences caused me to go through some soul searching myself. And so I ask you to look to my record in Congress now for over 6 years, where it is a reflection of what is in my heart, and it's a reflection of my commitment to fight for equality for all people. I have a 100% legislative rating from the Human Rights Campaign that reflects on a whole variety of issues and pieces of legislation how I have carried through on that commitment, which will continue as President and Commander-in-Chief.
Okay. All right. So first thing I noticed about this question was, this is a setup question. Yeah, I don't think that this gentleman, how can I say this? I think it's very ironic that he would ask this question. CNN is posing this question because, as I stated in the outset, right, before I played you the clip, right, that there was conversation. They had already been coming at her about these comments or about her stances back when she was in her early 20s. She's almost 40 now. When she still lived with her parents, and her dad is a Catholic, and he was a politician, and he was against gay marriage, and he had an organization, and she worked in that organization for some time before she left home. They're holding her accountable for how she felt when she was 20. So that's why they asked her the question. Look, isn't it funny, isn't it amazing that the questions that they ask are the questions that make the candidate, in an attempt to make the candidate look as bad as possible? Now, it's not done with all candidates, but I think it's fair game. I think it's fair to ask the question. There may be people, just because we are political animals or we pay attention to politics, doesn't mean everyone else does. So maybe I think it's fair. I'm kind of torn. Like, yeah, you should be asked this question, I guess. I like the way she handled answering the question. She made it real. She gave you context that explains why she would have a change of heart. Unlike Hillary Clinton, when they asked her, well, why did you change your opinion about gay marriage up until like 2012 or 2014 or whatever crazy number it was, Democrat Party had no problem with Hillary Clinton being against gay marriage up into the mid-2000s. Before I move on, before I go too far with that critique, let me say this, guys. Isn't it amazing that no one asked her about how she felt about reparations? Yeah, it's kind of amazing because Tulsi Gabbard signed H.R. 40. So it would have been kind of cool if they would have asked her about reparations, because you know they love asking Bernie Sanders about reparations. But see, Tulsi Gabbard signed H.R. 40, is in support of the study to make an analysis of how best to implement reparations, what that would look like. She supports that bill. But so they see no win in giving her an opportunity to address that, to express it. So look, I got a little egg on my face because I was talking to some folks, I was talking to somebody connected to the campaign. I was like, this is great. Please address this issue on CNN. Let them know that that Tulsi Gabbard has signed this document, this resolution. This is going to be great because all of these folks, all of the ADOS folks, and I support ADOS, I support reparations. All these folks want to know if they got a candidate that supports it. But see, this is my point, guys, and I've been trying to tell you, they don't care about helping you get exposure to that issue. They will only use the issue you care about if it can hurt progressive candidates. All right, back to Tulsi Gabbard. I wish they would have gave her the opportunity to increase awareness about how she feels about reparations and how she feels about social justice, how she feels about criminal justice reform. It would have been great but see, the last thing they want to do is actually help her. And that's been my contention. That has been my argument. They take your vulnerability and use it against you. They take away your strength when you are progressive. When you are Hillary Clinton or you are Joe Biden, or even if you are Kamala Harris, they let you slide on it. Tulsi Gabbard humanized herself in a way that Hillary Clinton was incapable of doing. That's why I tweeted out, guys, and I felt that question about LGBTQ that was supposed to be a gotcha question, she got them. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard got them because I think she humanized herself to an extent that I do not believe that Senator Elizabeth Warren, I do not believe that Kamala Harris can reach that level of sincerity. I don't think they can give you that feeling of true, no airs, no coaching, no mechanics, no robotics, no AI, right? Just genuine authenticity. And that's what I think that she displayed here. So that's how I see it. Let me know how you saw it in the comment section. I have another clip, okay?
You voted this past week to condemn anti-Semitism and other forms of hate. And this vote, of course, came after your fellow Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar suggested that support for Israel in Congress is, quote, all about the Benjamins, and criticized lawmakers just this past week for supporting Israel as potentially having, quote, allegiance to a foreign country. What do you think about these statements, and do you think this is anti-Semitic?
Well, let's look at the bigger issue here. The bigger issue is, there's a couple actually, of making sure that as members of Congress and as people in this country, we can have open dialogue about our foreign policy. You know, as there are criticisms levied about dual loyalty, again, as I mentioned in the last question, I've been on the receiving end of those types of attacks, so I can understand how offensive they can be. Where just because I am a Hindu, people assume that therefore I must be loyal to some other interest or some other place.
But what about these specific statements? You're talking broadly. These specific statements, were they anti-Semitic?
There are people who have expressed their offense at these statements. I think that what Congresswoman Omar was trying to get at was a deeper issue related to our foreign policy. And I think there's an important discussion that we have to be able to have openly, even though we may end up disagreeing at the end of it, that we've got to be able to have that openness to have the conversation.
But you're not willing to go as far as saying it's anti-Semitic.
Is what she was trying to bring up was something that was a deeper issue. Okay. And I don't believe that her intent was to cause any offense to anyone.
Okay, let's get back to the audience.
Some people said on Twitter to me, because I thought that Tulsi Gabbard did a good job with that. They said, Tim, I don't think that Tulsi Gabbard was direct enough. I think she should have said, no, hell no, Ilhan Omar is not anti-Semitic, and nothing that she said was anti-Semitic at all. This is all BS, this is all trumped up charges in order to slam my Muslim sister, and when I stand for it, and I'm going to stand behind her and support her, you better believe it, because this is a travesty that this is what it's come to. They have nothing else, so they use her skin color. She's a black Muslim woman, and they're using that against her to paint her as if she's anti-Semitic. And she should have said that, Tim Black. She could have said that. But Tulsi Gabbard is a politician, and we're not politicians, are we? That's maybe what I would say if you were my friend and someone said, hey, I've known you for 20 years and I know you not to be a thief. And someone says, hey, do you think this person's a thief? And I say no. But if you're a politician and you want, how can you attest to what someone's thoughts are? It's an opinion. I think that Tulsi Gabbard answered this question the best way she could when she said, I do not believe that that was her intention. I think that she was criticizing lobbying, a lobbyist organization that we know is a lobbyist organization. If she said the same thing about the NRA, you wouldn't have, no one would talk about it. Which is kind of the point, right? If she said the same thing about the fossil fuel industry, Big Pharma, Wall Street, Northrop Grumman, the military-industrial complex, the private prison industry. So many industries, we keep going on and on and on. So you would not make that claim. Hey, just because somebody doesn't like the Lakers doesn't mean they don't like black basketball players. Same thing here. So I think Tulsi Gabbard did a good job. In fact, I was just glad that she didn't do a word salad. Like, you know, I'm glad she didn't start word salading. And worse would have been, worse than the word salad, that we are so accustomed to with Kamala Harris and so many others, and Cory Booker, and so many others. Elizabeth Warren gets a little word salady too. Come on. Is that she did not outright throw Ilan under the bus, and I'm glad she did not, because that's what they wanted to do. I think that's why Dana Bash went back at her 3 times. And believe you me, they want to paint Tulsi Gabbard as anti-Semitic too. If she gives them anything, they will use that. They will use that on her because it's very effective. It's very effective. So I'm glad that Tulsi Gabbard responded in the way that she did. I'm glad that she would not buckle. And I like when someone asks her a dumb question, she doesn't get mad. She just...
There are people who have expressed their offense at these statements. I think that what Congresswoman Omar was trying to get at was a deeper issue related to our foreign policy.
If she just smiles, this is pleasant. No glaring, no fake, none of that. So I know the bar is low. Hillary set a low bar, but I'm just saying I like the fact that she has the composure to poise. And maybe it's from her religious background. I think we all could use a little bit of Hinduism in us if that's what you get from it, a poise and a calm collection. Or maybe it's because she put her life on the line and she's been in very tough situations. She's talked about that, about being being deployed and having much bigger issues than Donald Trump to deal with. So I think that is, uniquely qualified her for these moments. And I think this is just one of many moments. One of the commenters on my Facebook, or could have been my YouTube, they pointed out, I think it was Kerry Holder. Kerry Holder, thank you. Kerry Holder pointed out that Tulsi Gabbard gave a remarkable response about military personnel being sexually assaulted.
Of the serious change that needs to take place for there to be a true path for justice for victims of sexual assault in the military. I believe that we still today don't know how rampant sexual assault in the military is, because there is still a fear of retaliation, there is a stigma, and people who don't want to be known as that one. She or he is that one who went against the team, who turned their back. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And we know people ourselves who have gone through this and felt like they had no place to turn. So this legislation is so important because it provides that path outside of the chain of command.
Tulsi Gabbard really showed up to play today. She really showed up. When I say play, I don't mean play a role, but she showed up to be her best self. But I want to encourage you to go check that out if you get an opportunity to. I think if you like Tulsi Gabbard now, you're gonna love her more when you watch this clip. Okay, I think you're gonna know that you have a candidate that can be authentic, and it can be. She can show emotion without pandering. I felt no pander. Like, I guess I just got to give you my vote because you're a woman. I felt none of that at all. So it's all credibility. It's all realness. It's all sincerity. It's all qualifications. You get what I'm saying? So to wrap this all up, guys, Tulsi Gabbard tonight, in my opinion, demonstrated why she is a contender. When I say contender, there are people that are in this race that I don't feel are actually contenders. I don't believe that Julian Castro is actually running for anything. Not even VP. He's not even running for, I don't even know why. I think he's there because someone said, get in this thing. Be good marketing so people know your name. So people like Tim Black, who would have no reason at all to say your name, will say your name. Say my name, say my name. That's why he's here. When I say that Tulsi Gabbard is a contender tonight, it's because she demonstrated when put on the stage that she can deliver, and she delivered a great response to a series of questions. So hats off to Tulsi Gabbard. I wish that she would have been given an opportunity to talk more, to strengthen her her rapport with people of color, women of color, with black folks particularly. strong part of the Democratic Party base are black voters. I wish she would have had that opportunity. Also, to talk about criminal justice reform. But hey, that, like I said, that would have helped her. They're not there to help her. If anything, they want to stump her. So there it is. All right, guys, that's all I got. Remember, follow me at Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. I tweet real time on issues like this or events like this. If you're on YouTube right now, you're watching this on YouTube, please, guys, subscribe to the channel. Remember, I am in no way connected to any campaign, political campaign. I may talk to or tweet or DM somebody, but I'm not on staff. I'm not paid, none of that. So whatever my commentary is, it is just what it is. I am you. All right, I'm you with a platform. That's it. So I called it like I see it, and the way I saw it, this was a very strong performance. If I had to give her, out of 5, I'd give her a 4.5. I'll give her a 4.5 tonight. And I think that's a fair estimation of how she did tonight. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Shout out to justinformed.com. Become a member of a social media site that doesn't track your data. I'll see you tomorrow right here, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Tim Black Show. And check my YouTube for new video content. Stay safe. And like I always say, don't let nobody take your cornbread. Peace.